Hey, everybody, it is Brita for the Happier Attorney. And today we are going to do a mini workshop on our relationship with money. So, this is a mini version of our in person live workshop that is coming up July 12th through 14th in Boulder, Colorado. So, this is probably not something you want to do in the car, but get some paper and pen out because we're going to be asking questions of you later on. So, uh, for those of you who don't know me, I am Brita Long, and I am an attorney and a coach, an author, and I teach other attorneys how to use flat fees. And more importantly, I teach other attorneys about personal development and mindset and help get through what is probably your when you're self-sabotaging. So this chat is twofold. The purpose is to give you a small but powerful sample of the Happier Attorney 2-day workshop in Boulder uh, in July and then in Texas in October, so that you will hopefully like it and want to come to the in-person event and do some really incredibly powerful work. But more importantly, the purpose is to get you to think a little bit and to be crystal clear on any issues that you may be having with money that have nothing to do with money. Hence the title, It Ain't About the Money. So, for those of you who during the course of this chat are drawn towards it and want to do either of the workshops, the link is in the registration. And you really don't want to delay as there are limited slots and they're filling up fast, and the hotels fill up fast. So you can also go to thehappierattorney.com live events, and you will see all of the live events. So, getting back to the work at hand, this short chat is for you if you have struggled with money in the past and maybe aren't sure why, whether it is not making enough money or overspending or having no idea where the money went, whether it is feeling guilty about overcharging clients, or maybe you've made a lot of money and you still have a case of the whens. The, the whens are, I'll be happy when, I will feel satisfied when, I will be content when, but the whens keep moving along and you still don't feel secure regardless of what is in your bank account. It's like the millionaire who had literally millions and millions of dollars and was older, and someone said, how much more money do you need? And he said, just a little bit more. Okay. That's money mindset issues. Maybe you have made a lot of money and now have golden handcuffs that you feel you have to continue to make great money to afford your lifestyle, and you still don't feel free. So this work is for really all of us. It isn't for someone who is looking for personal financial information. There's plenty of that on books, online, whatever, or to have some 5-step get rich quick financial system. That's not what this is, because it's never about that. Okay. Again, the issue is never about the money. It's our relationship with money and how it affects our thinking, our decisions, our behaviors, and then the outcomes, what we're actually getting as a result of that in life. Money is a ubiquitous part of our lives. We have to have money. We don't barter anymore. So, in order to even sleep with a roof over your head and eat and shower and go to work, you have to have money. We need it to survive. And most of us want more of it to have a better quality of life. However, our relationship with money is often dysfunctional, and it can be such a huge source of stress and anxiety for so many people, regardless of what money they make or don't. And this fear of not having enough and or losing what we already have can lead to really irrational decisions and behavior. It can cause us to be penny wise and pound foolish. Now, what that means is that you are making wise decisions to try and save a little bit of money, but the result of that is that it costs you a lot of money in the end. And some of us have worked really hard. We are smart, and we never are able to find out what the issue is. And maybe you've read the books, maybe you have taken courses on money, and it helps for a little bit, but it doesn't fundamentally shift the equation because you haven't addressed the root of the problem, which is you. The root of my problem with money was me. I know, I know. And the answer isn't gonna be found in a financial program or financial literacy. It's really not, because you're trying to fix an emotional issue with intellect, with an intellectual solution. And friend, that is never, ever going to work, okay? So, many of us attorneys are not making a reasonable living. Others are and are spending it as fast as it comes in. It Some of us have a fear of even looking at the bank account, looking at the bills. Our relationship with money is really complex, and it has been shaped from the time we were very little. It's shaped by our upbringing, it's shaped by our experiences, our cultural beliefs, and even religion. Okay? There's a lot of what we are taught, even really young, by all of these sources. And a lot of times, what we're taught is wrong. Now, this isn't about bashing your parents. They had their own issues, they were taught their own things. They had their own limiting beliefs and their own systems of beliefs and behaviors about money. Some of us grew up with money and we maybe have felt guilty ever since. Some of us grew up without money, and that view affects everything. We view life through that lens, and it affects all of our decisions and our behavior. Some believe that money is evil and that rich people are all greedy, that if they get money, they'll be greedy. While others believe that money is the ultimate measure of success and happiness. And if you've been brought up in America, it would be really hard not to have that belief because that's what we're taught all the time, over and over and over and over again. Okay. So that all of those beliefs really interfere with the actual relationship of money. And so then we have this continued desire to increase our lifestyle and increases our expenses. And now maybe we feel trapped in having to make amazing money and not feeling free to do what we want to do. I remember when I was in law school, I I clearly remember this. I thought, "Oh my gosh, the day that I make $1,500 a month, I won't even know what to do with that kind of money." Like, I don't even know. What do people do with that kind of money? Well, that day came and went pretty fast. I figured out what to do with the money. And you find yourself back in the same spot, the same behaviors, the same problems. Whether and maybe now you're making 40, maybe now you're making 80, maybe you're making 400, but the problems still continue. That's what this work is about. Okay? So, it's not about the money itself. It's about how we feel about the money. So, a little bit about my story. How do you think that I figured out how to fix this? I've lived it. I had a very sorted and complex relationship with money. I made a lot of it and I've struggled. And I used to not feel comfortable with money to the point that I would throw it away. I would avoid it. I would avoid looking at the bills. Even when I had the money to pay them, I would avoid looking at my checking account. Even when there was plenty, I knew there was plenty of money. I was scared of money. And then I was resentful because I didn't have the money. I self sabotaged in every single way possible, whether it was high overhead, whether it was wasting money, whether it was making risky decisions with money, whether it was not marketing properly, whether it was not investing in my practice or investing in myself. And none of this, of course, was conscious. That's the thing. If it was conscious, I would have fixed it. It wasn't. It was deeper than that. And so I did what I knew how to do. I read personal finance books. I took coaching courses. And it helped a little bit, but not fundamentally. Again, because I was trying to solve an emotional issue with an intellectual solution, and that's never gonna work. And I had a lot of horrible stories that I could tell myself, and I did. And then I brought the shame into it. I would shame myself. I couldn't be trusted with money. I was irresponsible. I just wasn't meant to have money. I couldn't understand why. I knew I was smart. I knew I was hardworking, and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. So I just chalked it up to me. And that shame never helps, by the way. Okay. And so years ago, started to take a serious look at my life and my relationships with money and myself. And I began this coincided with teaching other attorneys about flat fees. And I immediately saw that so many other attorneys had the same issues that I had, maybe different flavors, but the same fundamental issues that I had. So we started working through that with the flat fees. And so now I'm incorporating that work into these workshops. And my clients began thinking about money differently. They began feeling differently about it and behaving differently in regard to money. And guess what? They started getting serious results. And time after time, I would see my clients go through the process of, with a little bit of help, this really isn't something that you can do on your own because of the blind spots and your ego. And they started going from having serious issues with money to feeling some feelings, doing some introspection, taking some responsibility, and feeling the feelings that they had been running away from for decades, changing those feelings, and ultimately improving their relationship with money to the point where they don't fear it. They don't feel guilty about it. They have the income that they want. They have the life that they want. And they got rid of the shame, the embarrassment, and their ego directly tied into their bank account balance. Our relationship with money affects us and impacts us on a very deep level. And it could have been as simple as, a small comment from a parent, such as, money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. People are poor because they don't want to work hard. All of those messages stick with us. And again, some of us have cultural beliefs about money and what it says about us. We are judged by other people's view of our financial status. All of that can really mess with your head and goes into our beliefs about money. And it affects us every single day far more than we realize. And it really hampers our ability to do what we want to do in life. So, for instance, I had one client who thought she was horribly irresponsible with money and had a lot of shame with that. And here she was, she felt like a fraud because she was an attorney who her job is to, help other people get their life sorted out and tell them what to do. And she felt like, a hypocrite. And I've been there. It doesn't feel good. She had a lot of credit card debt. Yet in her 20s, she didn't have debt and she had no trouble saving. And she had no idea what was going on. And she just kept telling herself, she needed to get her shiitake together. She needed to get her shit together. Well, in this work, we did some digging and some more digging and found one piece of the puzzle. She was a single mom. She had always had 100% responsibility for the care and financial care of her son in every possible way. And she had a lot of guilt over that fact. She wanted to give her son the best life possible. She wanted to give him all of the things and the extracurricular activities and make up for the fact that he only had one parent. And she didn't feel worthy of herself to make great money. She also felt guilty about charging her clients good money. So her son's expenses went on credit card debt. And it was a perfect storm. She had these subconscious beliefs that if she didn't spend money on her son, she was a bad mom. But if she charged the money to pay for that to her clients, then she was a bad person. So she picked the best of a bunch of bad solutions. And it was all about her feelings. There was no way she could win. Being in credit card debt was the best of the bad options. Only when she started to become aware of those beliefs and question them could she start to change them. It was a form of self-sabotage, and we all do it. She did that, and she started getting herself out of this mess, and she started charging what she should be charging. And guess what? Her relationship with her son actually improved as a result. I'm not kidding. This work isn't about being anti-money. I'm pro-money, but one needs to know how to use it and not misuse it. Money is a tool to buy time and to buy comfort, as my friend Tucker Max told me years ago. It's neutral. We can use it for wonderful things, or we can misuse the tool, hate the tool, being afraid of the tool, and then it isn't going to work for us well. Make no mistake, this is an important part of our life that is affecting you every single day. And you are not alone. Regardless of your financial situation, you're not alone. I have talked to so many attorneys in the last 5 years who are in serious financial trouble, who are in serious life trouble. You are not alone. So here's where the work comes in. I'm going to ask you to take out a piece of paper and write the following questions and answers. And you can come back to these questions and answers. Come back in a week. Let things bubble up and see what your answers are in a week. Come back in a month and see what they are. If nothing else, hopefully I can plant a seed that will at least get you thinking about this, okay? So the first question is, why are you here? Why are you watching this video? What drew you to this work? Okay. And you can come back and answer these. Okay. The second question is, what is your history of how you treat money? Okay, that might be kind of weird. Like, what do you mean, how do I treat money? Well, how do you treat money? Do you avoid it? Where you're scared to do the books? Now, I'm not talking about you doing the books. I'm talking about you actually just dealing with your financial situation, whether it be looking at your bank accounts, whether it be talking to your accountant, whether it be paying bills. Do you neglect it? Do you avoid it? Do you shame it? Or do you act like it's a hot potato? Like, I can't get rid of it fast enough. The money comes in and I'm paying bills that day. Get it away from me. Are you holding on to it for dear life? I just need more. I need more. I need more. It doesn't matter if I have $1 million in the bank. I need more. Are you overspending? What is your history of how you treat money? Okay. The third question is, what is the one or two words that describe how you feel about money? And notice I said feel about money, not think about money. Again, this isn't a thinking problem. This is a feeling problem. So how do you feel about money? Do you love it? Are you scared of it? Do you hate it? Do you resent it? How do you feel about money? Next question is, what is the emotion behind that word? Okay. It can be the same. It can be a slight variation. But most of the time when people answer this, the emotion isn't good. We're talking about, I resent money, which was my word, by the way, when I did this years and years ago. If I resent money, that's going to affect how I treat it. That's going to affect what I do to bring it in. If I fear it, same thing. If I think it's bad, same thing. Okay. The next question is, what is the story behind that word? What story are you telling yourself about money? Maybe it's, I'll never have it. Maybe it's, I need to spend it now while I have it because I'm not going to have it again. I need to save it all because life is scary and I need to feel secure. What is the story behind what's the story you're telling yourself? Okay. You might have to think about that. And you know what? I bet there's a lot of them. It's probably not just one story. Is that story true? That's the next question. Is that story even true? I had one client, man, we lie to ourselves. I had one client who needed some help. She quit her private practice and she was trying to pick a job. She had 3 offers, great jobs. Some of these were the dream jobs. She couldn't even imagine having these job offers. And she just needed some help choosing which one. Now, I'm not choosing for her. I'm just asking her questions to get to her real feelings. And one of the when we were talking about job security, well, this job is more secure. And if I lost my job, then our mortgage is going to be affected, and blah 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 blah. This story, and she had it down. Okay, she had it down until I started questioning her about it. Okay, so time out. So let's say you lose that job. Do you really think that you're not you got these 3 job offers after looking for a job for about 6 weeks? Do you really think that you couldn't get another job in that in a reasonable time frame if you lost this one? Well, probably. Okay. Let's say you can't. What did you just do? You just closed down a practice. Do you think you could reopen it? Yeah. Okay. We lie to ourselves all of the time. There was no scarcity issue with her. That was all made up in her head. It was all in her head. Okay. So is that story even true? The next question is, given your history with money and how you've treated it, if you were money, I know this might sound a little woo woo, but just hear me out. If you were money, would you want to be around you? Let's say money was a person. Given the way you have treated it, whether you have held on to it for dear life or you have made your ego all about the money, or you have neglected it, or you have abused it, would you want to be around you? The last question is, how would you like to feel about money? What would you like your relationship to be with money in your ideal world? Don't let your head start the yeah buts. That's not going to be helpful to you. What would you like your relationship to be with money? Okay. So take some time, answer those questions, and keep coming back to them. See what bubbles up. See what stories bubble up. See what memories bubble up. Okay? But constantly be asking, is that true? Probably not. So the only thing standing between you and having the relationship with money that you want is your openness and willingness to do some incredibly powerful work. It's not going to be painful work. It might be a little uncomfortable for a short period of time. And most people will never do it. Only those who are really courageous will do this work. But make no mistake, your relationship with money is not going to change on its own. It's not going to change with intellectual solutions. It's not going to change with a new software program or reading a personal finance book. It's not going to. If that worked, you would have fixed it by now, right? It's just not the way that it works. So I'm inviting you to have the courage to face this issue. Face it in a confidential setting with a very limited number of people. There's only going to be 20 people there, and come to this workshop July 12th through 14th in Chautauqua, Boulder, Colorado. This is going to be the most supportive, loving group of people you've been around. It is specifically chosen to the location is specifically chosen to facilitate the work. And remember, everybody has their own issues. Everybody. So don't feel self-conscious. What is more important is you get down and fix the issue, okay? And here's what I promise. You will have a good and meaningful time with amazing people and feel supported. You will leave with some clarity on why you are in the position that you are in and how you got there and where you want to go. You will have clarity about yourself. You will have a solid plan on how to get where you want to go. And you will feel a shift. But this work is only as good as you are open to it. But you will have some shifts, period. There is a reason you came to this workshop, watching this video. You can take action and begin to make those shifts or not. That is up to you, but nothing is going to change without doing work like this and starting to see those invisible thoughts and beliefs and feelings that are getting in your way and causing you to self-sabotage. So, again, space is limited. If you can't come to July, there is another one in October. And keep checking if you can't come to that one, keep checking. We will have these twice a year, and they will always be listed on the Happier Attorney website. So hope to see you guys there. Hope this at least got you thinking a little bit. And so you can be a little bit happier. Okay, take care. Bye, y'all.